Yeah, I think I'm dreaming right now. Siren's Curse is a Vekoma second generation tilt coaster opened at Cedar Point in 2025. This was a last minute addition that's going to go across Iron Dragon near the Cedar Point Marina. It's replacing Wildcat as well as the old Cedar Point dorms. This is unbelievable. This is such a crazy addition at the final minute. Cedar Point decided to get this roller coaster, and this is actually what I believe to be the first true Cedar Fair and Six Flags merger decision under the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation with Siren's Curse, and we're going to dive into that theory during this analysis video. But this is Siren's Curse.
Now get ready. Here we go.
When Siren's Curse opens, it will be the tallest, longest, and fastest tilt coaster in North America. And the reason it has that North America record is because Codaland hasn't been built yet, which is the circuit breaker, and Iron Rattler, which is at Six Flags Qiddiya, is already going to destroy those records. But anyway, Siren's Curse is going to stand 160 feet, speeds of up to 58 miles per hour, a roughly 2-minute duration, over 2,966 feet of track. It's going to have a bunch of airtime moments, 2 barrel rolls, and a high-speed triple down element halfway through the ride, with a ton of twisted overbanks and such, and a 48-inch height requirement, which has been one of the biggest pros involved with working with Vekoma, is their height requirement. So this is a ride that's going to get a pretty decent sized weight. It's only going to use 2 trains, which is very unlike Cedar Point. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's going to have these LED cars. They're going to be rerouting the road around back if you're going to Hotel Breakers, and all the things on the opposite side. There is so much to this coaster. But let's talk about the obvious with this ride, and that being a last minute addition. Now, because this is a last minute addition for the park, there isn't a lot of theming elements at the current moment. These are all things that they can add later on as they progress in the making of this roller coaster, but I wouldn't expect theming elements right away. But one of the more interesting things, and this goes back to what I said earlier, it's only going to run 2 trains. Now, from the looks of things, they could maybe run 3, but I don't know if they're going to go that far into it, especially with this being a last minute addition. And the reason for this is it goes all the way back. A couple months ago, I posted a video on Six Flags Mexico potentially getting a tilt coaster with track being spotted directly outside of their property. Turns out that the government in Mexico in the area was very concerned about this roller coaster, concerned that they were going to be cutting down trees, concerned that they were going to be much bad flow of traffic. So, all in all, the ride pretty much got canceled in Six Flags Mexico, which was a bummer because it was going to be their 25th anniversary. And Six Flags itself still had this roller coaster, so they figured they'd put it somewhere, and they chose Cedar Point. So Six Flags Mexico, you probably would have gotten this roller coaster if everything with the government went to fruition, but turns out that's not the case at all. And now Siren's Curse is here at Cedar Point, and that's why all of the things started beginning teasing like very late into the game. Like, there's no signage inside the park about this ride, even 2 days after its announcement. So that was pretty crazy to think about and to see, unfortunately, all that unravel, because Six Flags Mexico could have really benefited from this roller coaster. But with all that being said, let's go deeper into the layout. Alright, so we'll make this super quick. You basically just go straight up the lift hill, 160 feet, you make a slight left turn, and this is where you make it to the tilt track that tilts you 90 degrees down. It releases you after a few seconds before you twist to the left. You go up a massive airtime hill as you dive underneath yourself, almost like a non-inverting dive loop, similar to Flash Vertical Velocity Great Adventure. That gets you into your first barrel roll inversion before it twists you up through the same tower that you dropped from, and this is where you hit the triple down, where the last drop of the triple down is actually underground, which is pretty cool. wraps you a little bit around. You go into the second barrel roll, and then there's a couple of airtime pops, twists and turns, a really tight left turn before hitting the brakes. Looks like a really solid and intense layout that fixes a lot of flaws that apparently Valorant has. So I'm really invested to see how this stacks up. And oddly enough, both rides are pretty much next to each other on the sideline. So it'll be really interesting to see how these two rides differ. At the end of the day, I'd be a fool saying that Siren's Curse is not a good fit. Like, Siren's Curse is an amazing fit for Cedar Point. I think there was like a bunch of jokes being like, oh, Cedar Point's gonna get a tilt coaster, when in reality they need like a wood coaster and a water ride. But I still think this is a good fit. I would have been more okay with it being on the Snake River Falls plot of land, but this also works. They don't have to remove, they technically didn't remove anything. They didn't remove any rides technically to add this in, so that in itself is a win, especially for Cedar Point being landlocked. If you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and always think your write-ups. Let me know what you think of Siren's Curse. This is absolutely awesome. And have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the parks. Goodbye.
Here we go.